Hi, good evening, and welcome to Tuesday's program. Glad to have you with us on this October 4th. A lot to talk about weather-wise. Still a beautiful run at some really nice weather for the next several days. And, of course, we've got a major hurricane knocking on the doorsteps of the eastern coast. And what could that have to say about our weather? Much more worrisome is what it's going to have to say to the Carolinas and some other states on the East Coast. And we'll try to talk about that briefly tonight. We're still days away from any effects here in Kentucky or the eastern part of the United States, except for the coastal states, should there be any. But it is going to be a worrisome situation for a lot of Americans, and we'll start to worry about that and focus on that as we should. We'll talk about, of course, our local weather as well, which, as I said, is faring quite nicely for the next several days. Still a pretty significant cool down in store, and I've got the lower 40s for some nighttime lows, not too awfully far away, but we've got more sunshine and more warm air, at least for a few days. Our top headlines tonight will include counterfeit money passed at a local business last night, $200 worth at one business, and it's a very real looking counterfeit money designed, it says, for use in motion pictures. Might ring a bell with a report you may have heard from elsewhere in Kentucky months ago. Well, now it's a report coming from Sagersville. We'll show you the bills, tell you where they were passed, and give you all the information you need to be aware of, especially businesses and just individuals alike for that matter. A McGoffin County man and two others were jailed on methamphetamine-related charges. The McGoffin County man, at least one of them that we're speaking of tonight, was just jailed facing meth charges or charged with methamphetamine charges with his daughter weeks ago. Two individuals charged after a serious auto accident that I only had time to refer to last night. And some other information. Also, we have the last individual sought after for the armed robbery that took place at the J&J General Store. Turned himself in this morning, and a whole lot of other official news, if you will, this evening before we turn to local announcements and the like. So a lot of ground to cover. Let's start off with counterfeit bills, which the Sagersville Police Department and its chief says were passed last night at an area business. And trust me when I say they do look very real, and it's understandable how they could be taken without some further and more serious inspection. It's particularly worrisome, though, as to where they're coming from, as they are readily available on the internet, I found. Similar to reports out of Georgetown, out of Cynthiana, possibly some other Kentucky cities back around December, January of this year, and some similar reports out of other states that I can also find and document as well. Counterfeit bills, supposedly for use in motion pictures, have been passed at a Sagersville business, where two $100 counterfeit bills were handed out, passed and received at the Sagersville Dairy Queen last night. Chief of Police Matthew Watson says that Officer Joshua Peace responded to the complaint and confirmed that the business was indeed a victim of such a scam.
A lady come through the drive-thru and passed a $100 bill that was fake. Then she went around the building and come back and bought another item, and that bill gave them another $100 bill, and it was fake. They got a partial tag number on the vehicle. It's believed to come out of Pike County. The local business is going to try to blow the film up and get a full tag, so it's still under investigation, but we wanted to warn the local businesses in town that $100 bills are being passed that are fake.
Bills that are completely fake, but completely realistic too if you do not take a serious and close look at them. Here are two of the counterfeit bills for motion picture use only, and one real one printed by the United States Treasury. And you've got to study on them to find the fakes.
If you don't really pay attention to them, they look almost like a regular $100 bill, except these have got some writing on them that doesn't fit. It says for motion picture use only. So they're almost, if you don't pay attention to them, they look real.
In this close-up, you can see what Watson is referring to, the real bill on the top, and to the right of Ben Franklin's face, you can see the United States of America printed across the bill. In a similar font, in the same place, on the lower bill, for motion picture use only. But let's be realistic. On first glance and without further investigation, they look very, very similar. There are a few other marks and identifiers that you can find if you look very closely. But once again, it takes a really close look. So the question is, where do you get motion picture use only money? Do you have to be on the set of a motion picture? No. Like most everything else in this world, you can find it on the internet. I logged on to eBay. A simple search of motion picture money turned up countless sites, all denominations, new print bills, new versions of bills, older prints, some that look used, some that don't, some that are only printed on one side. Some, for example, are very close to the $100 bill that was taken last night at the Dairy Queen, but you'll see a bit of a smile and a bit of a different expression on Ben Franklin's face. But if you look close enough, you can find some that are printed on both sides, printed to nearly match an original $100 bill, or a 5, 10, 20, or 50 for that matter. And you can pick them up for cheap. For example, these $100 bills, you can buy 100 of them, that's $10,000 worth, for $20, plus a few dollars in shipping. That makes it a very strong appeal for someone who is brazen enough to try to pass it at a local or area or business anywhere, in which they can, like they did last night, buy an item for just a couple of dollars and get more than $90 in real cash back in change. As for more of a description on the suspect, they believe it to be a maroon Ford SUV, Pike County tags. They had a partial plate and were hopeful on recovering the entire plate with their surveillance system and getting that information to authorities, and in fact they may already have. But for now, all we can advise anyone is just beware. I'll be right back. For high-speed internet starting at 15 meg for all of your gaming, movie, home, and business solutions, or to watch TV, including your favorite local channels without a contract, with hundreds of channels and digital and HD quality, and to stay connected 24/7 with friends and family, a direct line to 911, or to give your business the link it needs, choose telephone service you know is always there. Just click on their link on this site to find out how affordable the latest technology in communications can be. Foothills Communications. Much of yesterday's reporting centered around auto accidents over the course of the weekend, and of course that included the fatal one that claimed the life of Leah Roark of Magoffin County, and we do have complete funeral service announcements later on in our obituaries for Miss Roark in just a few moments. Towards the latter part of the program, we only had some sketchy details about an auto accident that appeared to involve a pickup truck and a utility pole, and at least the driver. It now appears as though there were two people in the truck. It also appears as though another motorist was worried about there being an accident. We have some cell phone video of the accident actually taking place. It's very grainy. It did not transfer well, but if you watch closely, you can see the debris flying as the truck collides with the utility pole before it careens on off the roadway and over the embankment. As a result of that crash, 2 arrests have taken place, and I'm also told by the Magoffin County Sheriff's Department that more charges are possibly pending. It happened on 114 near the Ivington Trestle last evening in that vicinity, as a pickup truck for a very long distance veered off the roadway before striking a utility pole, cutting it in half. Magoffin County Sheriff's Deputy says that upon arriving at the scene and conducting his accident investigation, he was notified by a motorist who was said to have been behind the pickup truck before and during the time that it crashed, telling the deputy that they were so concerned that the vehicle was about to crash that they had started recording its travel moments before it happened. It was a crash that apparently some other motorists were suspecting or fearing, because one passenger had pulled out their phone and started videotaping a truck which was driving erratically, appearing that the driver was possibly under the influence. And while they caught it on their cell phone, it does not transfer very well onto your screen. All you can see is that there was basically an explosion of some sort when the truck collided with the utility pole. By the time the cell phone video begins, the truck has already veered off the road, where it traveled off the roadway for several feet. But that pickup truck did collide with a utility pole, just shearing it in half. Utility lines on the roadway were, of course, a traffic hazard for quite some time and slowed and stopped traffic in that 114 section for quite some time. Upon arrival of EMS and law enforcement, 2 individuals were found to have been in the pickup truck at the time of the collision: 32-year-old Tony Castle of Sagersville and a 27-year-old Geneva McGinnis of DeBoard, Kentucky. Magoffin County Sheriff's Deputy Neil Adams has noted in his police citation that he charged Castle with driving under the influence, first degree, with aggravated circumstances. He was lodged in the Big Sandy jail after being cleared medically, I believe. 27-year-old McGinnis was jailed on several drug-related charges: 2 counts of possession of a controlled substance, 1 in the 2nd degree, 1 in the 3rd, also possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of a prescription substance not in its original or proper container. Adams noted that she was in possession of Suboxone, Valium, possibly some other illegal narcotics or drugs. Right now, his investigation is centering around the fact that the driver may have passed out or just veered off the road for another reason. He also says that more charges are possibly pending. More reports on some more arrests as they've taken place in the past day or days in just a few moments. Right now, we need to take a break, switch some gears, and go on over to your McGoffin Farm Bureau community calendar. Your calendar tonight kicking off this October 4th with some birthday wishes, and the first reads as follows. A happy 67th birthday to Kermit Gibson of Eddie Boo Boo Tyrell. Your kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids, I do believe. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy 67th birthday, that is, to Kermit Gibson. And I got a happy 6th birthday tonight going out to a little Miss Whitney Lynn from Papaw and Mama Pearl Ann and Daddy Michael and Sister Haley. Happiest of 6 birthdays to you. Before I go on to other announcements, let me tell you about one that I don't have typed on the screen. And I know that that's obvious, but I just wanted to let you know. I just got it in. Don't have it typed in, but it's for tomorrow. So I wanted to let everyone know that the McGoffin County Health Department is giving flu shots tomorrow at the McGoffin County Senior Citizen Center down at the community center. So be sure and stop by. Also, a word of note, the Senior Citizen Center is going to be closed this Thursday due to some staff training. So keep that in mind too. But most importantly, flu shots tomorrow at the McGoffin County Senior Citizen Center provided by the McGoffin County Health Department. Now, on to other announcements and reminders. The South McGoffin Fire Department is having a fish fry dinner this Thursday at 6 for $6. That's fish, slaw, puppies, french fries, and a drink. You can eat with them, which they'd love to have you, or you can get it to go. So come out and support South McGoffin. This is from Fire Chief Tim Joseph and everyone at the South McGoffin Fire Department on Route 7. And another fish fry this Friday at the Burning Fork Community Church, put together by the Burning Fork Community Church Ladies Fellowship. Now, this is how this works. They have a couple of folks from London, Kentucky, Delmer and Yvonne Gross. They come in, they fix all this heavenly fish. It also comes with sides, hush puppies, fries, coleslaw, with delightful dessert as well. But the fish and hush puppies prepared by Delmer and Yvonne Gross is $10 per plate. That's dine in or carry out. They say it's a heavenly and wonderful meal, and it's this Friday at Burning Fork Community Church, 4 to 7. Ladies, you might want to mark this on your calendar for next Wednesday, a week from tomorrow, where you're asked to think pink and do it with some other like-minded ladies at the McGoffin County Extension Service. Their annual luncheon is next Wednesday, 11:50. Let me back that up. That's 11:50, 10 till noon next Wednesday, and it lasts until 1. They'll have Dr. Aurora, an oncologist there, Becky Simpson from the Kentucky Cancer Program, cancer survivors, testimonials, and more. That's next Wednesday. You can RSVP. It is encouraged by calling the extension office at 349 3612. I have the McGoffin County Health Department phone number at the bottom. Please disregard that. But you don't have to RSVP. You can if you'd like, and I will get you the correct number on the screen tomorrow. 3216 for the extension service. A reminder, the 20th Annual United Way Golf Scramble is coming up on Monday the 17th at Stonecrest. This benefits local organizations I know of, like the McGoffin County Rescue Squad, the McGoffin County Senior Citizen Center. It's $360, I believe, per team. And, of course, they have a wonderful time, a wonderful, wonderful cause, and they hope that you'll join them for the 20th annual event. You can call 886-4480 to find out more on Facebook. They're at UW, that's for United Way, Eastern KY. And as we always do, after free announcements like you just heard, birthdays and anniversaries and the others, I'll tell you how to get them on the show if you want them heard. P.O. Box 1443 in Sagersville, email, Facebook, phone, fax, it's all on the screen. And remember, our show is always on. It's on our website at yournewstoday.com. Turning to funeral service announcements this evening, Leah Michelle Roark, 53 of Sagersville, passed away this Sunday, the 2nd, survived by her father, Jack Gross, her husband, Ellis Roark, her son, Ellis Jake Roark, and daughters, Amanda Wheeler and Haley Roark. Visitation will be after 6 o'clock tomorrow evening and prior to Thursday's services. They're going to begin at 11 o'clock on Thursday morning with both visitation and services from the McGoffin County Funeral Home. Burial will follow at the Roark Cemetery at Cow Creek. 55-year-old Billy Joe Whitey Gamble of Old Lick Creek Road passed away Monday, the son of Berlin Gamble and the late Reba Tackett Gamble. Besides his father, he's survived by 5 brothers and 6 sisters. Visitation will be after 6 o'clock Wednesday, all day Thursday, and prior to Friday's services that are scheduled to start at 1 that afternoon. All services from the Head of Coon Creek Church. Burial at the Head of Coon Creek Cemetery. The McGoffin County Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. And lastly tonight, one announcement coming in loving memory of Hillard Cole, greatly missed by his family and friends. In this segment, several arrests that have taken place in the past few days. One involves 3 men charged with methamphetamine and other drug-related charges. One of those men already facing methamphetamine charges after being stopped with his daughter on the Mountain Parkway just days ago. Sheriff Carson Montgomery tells me that Saturday night he witnessed some individuals pull into the lot at a fuel station here in Sagersville that appeared to possibly be under the influence. He witnessed the vehicle pull in and leave. He also witnessed that there was a different person behind the wheel of the vehicle that he saw leaving, and when he made a traffic stop on the vehicle just a few hundred yards up the road, so to speak. After further questioning and investigation, there were 3 individuals found to be in the car, and all 3 were charged, including 62-year-old Jack Brent Crace of Sagersville, charged with possession of a controlled substance in the first for methamphetamine. Meth found in the vehicle with them. Crace was arrested with his daughter for methamphetamine-related charges just weeks ago on the Mountain Parkway by, I believe it was the McGoffin County Sheriff's Department and that traffic stop as well. 2 other men were also charged. In the middle of your screen, 28-year-old Maxwell Warwicks of East Point. He was said to have been behind the wheel of the vehicle at one point, charged with DUI in his second offense, licensed to be in possession, as well as possession of methamphetamine and possession of drug paraphernalia. And 26-year-old Matthew Meek of Sitka, he too charged with possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and public intoxication of a controlled substance. All were lodged in the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center. I believe all were still lodged up there as of earlier today as well. Yesterday I reported to you that a Stephen Howard was taken into custody by the McGoffin County Sheriff's Department. He was wanted on an indictment warrant for robbery in the first degree for entering and robbing the J&J General Store on Route 7 back in June of this year. I also told you at that time that they were, being authorities, still searching for the man they consider to be his accomplice who was in the store at the time that Howard entered and then robbed the store of an undetermined amount of cash. And we have since found out from Sheriff Carson Montgomery that Kennedy Logan Chaffins, 19, from Martin, turned himself in to the McGoffin County Sheriff's Department just earlier today and is since being jailed, as is Howard, both on robbery in the first degree in the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center, with Chaffins' charge, of course, being complicity to commit robbery in the first degree. Another McGoffin County man apprehended in the last 24 hours on an indictment warrant that was returned last week by a sitting McGoffin County grand jury is 24-year-old Dustin McKenzie of Sagersville. He was indicted on sexual abuse charges in the first degree related to a victim under the age of 12 and criminal abuse charges in the second degree with the same victim under the age of 12. Jail records indicate that he was lodged in the Big Sandy Jail after being apprehended by the Martin County Sheriff's Department yesterday sometime around 6 o'clock. Now, wrapping it up with your weather forecast, we've got more of the same. Still 78 degrees if you're catching the early show outside the studio. We'll fall down to the mid-50s as we did last night with partly cloudy skies and only a light east wind to speak of. We will start off your Wednesday with some patchy fog between 7 and 8. Otherwise, we'll see some more sunshine tomorrow, and I think we'll bust the 80-degree mark tomorrow at 80, 81, maybe 82. 53 tomorrow night, but sunny and clear and calm and beautiful across your Wednesday. Getting into Thursday and closer towards the end of the week, some more patchy fog to start things off, more sunny skies and more temperatures right around the 80-degree mark with nighttime lows in the low 50s again, sunny and mostly clear. Friday, no major change-ups yet, that is. 79 and 57 expected, sunny and partly cloudy. Now, while the forecast right now calls for nothing out of the ordinary but some cooler air, that is on your Saturday, 70, 44, partly sunny, still dry, and Sunday taking a pretty good hit temperature-wise down into the low 60s. And Columbus Day right now, I've got a 68-degree day, my apologies, on Columbus Day. So that all looks to be just a bit cooler and staying dry. That is dependent on what the Category 4 Hurricane Matthew does. Now, right now, the time frame, and we'll look at it closer tomorrow, we'll put it up on the screen, but it's showing, some models showing a potential impact with Florida as soon as Thursday of this week, making a run up the coast, and some models even saying that maybe before that gets to some states that we could see some rain and a whole lot of it possibly built into maybe even the eastern part of the state, and that includes the viewing area, but that is just too far out to call, as is the exact path of Matthew. But we're hoping and praying for all those in its path, and we'll be talking about it in more detail on tomorrow night's program. Well, that'll wrap it up for this Tuesday. Thank you, as always, for tuning in and spending a little time with us. We hope to see you back here tomorrow night for more exclusive news and coverage that you'll only find right here on Your News Today. Good night. Thanks for watching.